Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2022 Thor Omni motorhome, we're going to be checking out the Blue Ox Avail tow bar. Tow bar is going to be one of 5 main parts that you're going to need to set your Jeep up to be flat towed. The other 4 are going to include your base plate, your safety cables, your tow bar wiring, and of course your supplemental braking system. When it comes to picking out a tow bar, it's a pretty important decision because it is responsible for a lot of the work, being the actual link that's going to connect the back of your motorhome to the front of your vehicle. And so you're going to want something that tracks well, meaning your vehicle's going to pull true behind it, be responsive, things like that. And something that's easy to use and figure out, right? The last thing you want to do is have something complicated to deal with when you're trying to set up your flat tow and get on the road. And with the Avail being more of a premier type tow bar, definitely going to check both of those boxes. I know for a fact that it pulls a vehicle excellent. I've got firsthand experience with this. I've actually pulled a vehicle around with a big motorhome through a super tight parking lot and was really impressed, how quickly the vehicle followed the coach around turns and things like that. So really can't go wrong there. And being that this is a really heavy duty tow bar, all right, it's gonna have a 10,000 pound weight capacity. It'll be overbuilt in a lot of situations, and I really feel like that helps out, absorbing some of that road shock from hitting potholes and things like that. Another reason why, this would track well and everything is it's a long tow bar. And generally speaking, the more distance you have between your coach and your vehicle, the better. That's how you're gonna get those results of it following the coach around those turns and everything like that. As far as getting this thing disconnected and connected, pretty straightforward. You're just gonna have a pin here, pull this one out. That will allow you to separate that arm there. And when you go to hook it back up, line everything up, put it through, lock it down. It's really all there is to it. So this is going to be compatible with Blue Ox base plates as well as Curt base plates. And even if you happen to have a different base plate on your vehicle from a different manufacturer, chances are pretty good you'll be able to pick up an adapter which lets you change this part out and convert it to the type of end that your base plate needs to allow you to pair the two together. One thing I always recommend people when they're looking for a tow bar is to get one that is non-binding, which this one is a non-binding type tow bar. But whether you go with this one or a different one, I feel like it's a really important feature to mention. So what can happen sometimes when you go to disconnect, the end can get in a bind and be extremely difficult to take apart. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I was disconnecting this one a minute ago, it was kind of getting hung up. And if that happens to you, with the Avail here, all you're gonna have to do is push this lever down. That will release the tension and make it a lot more easy to get everything unhooked. The tow bar is going to come included with safety cables, which I think is convenient. It's one less thing you're not gonna have to worry about picking up separately. You know that they're gonna be the right capacities, style, length, things like that, which kind of brings me to my next point. If you don't have tow bar wiring already, you're going to want to get a kit that has a cable like this, a coiled one. Since the tow bar doesn't have a cable management system on it, the coiled type is definitely the way to go. It'll keep it up off the ground when you're going straight and be able to stretch out when you make those turns and things like that. With that in mind, in case you're wondering what this piece is here, all right, this is a separate component called a high-low adapter. And in a lot of situations, this is probably something that you're gonna need. It's all gonna depend on your exact setup, but I figured I'd touch base on it. And what this does is ensures that the tow bar is gonna be level, because you want it to be straight when you're pulling your vehicle down the road. And how you figure out if you need one or not, you can pull your vehicle and your motorhome together, about how you have it set up, preferably on level ground, and measure from the center of your attachment point on your base plate down to the ground, and the center of your motorhome's hitch pin hole down to the ground. And if that measurement is greater than 3 inches, then you're going to need a way to correct that. And that's where the high-low would come into play. So let's just say, for example, this was 20 inches and this was 28 inches. You could use an 8-inch or even a 6-inch high-low adapter to drop that attachment point down to make your tow bar level. I figured I'd bring this up too because it's becoming more and more popular, at least from what I can tell. The shank here on this tow bar is going to work with the 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening. So extremely common, but we're starting to see on these coaches more and more larger 2.5 by 2.5 inch hitches. So if that's your situation and you want to use this tow bar, you can always use a reducer sleeve like we are, which would go inside of the 2.5 inch opening, reduce it down to 2 inches, and let the tow bar plug right into it. The Avail is going to be a really good choice for those of you that have base plate attachment points that are really wide, like our Jeep Cherokee here today. Some tow bars are going to have limitations on how wide they can actually spread, and with the Avail, it really isn't a huge deal. You know, you can spread it out all the way, still going to work just fine and get the job done. Now, compared to some of the other tow bars, if you're looking for something that's a little more economical, the eTrailer.com XHD tow bar is a good choice, kind of right in the middle of the road. If you're looking for something a little bit different, but kind of on par with the Avail, the Roadmaster Nighthawk is a really nice setup too, so you can check that out if you want. But other than that, at the end of the day, we've had a lot of good luck with the Avail. It seems like a lot of people are happy with it, and I can see why. You know, it's a really nice tow bar, reliable, and looks good as well. You are able to store the tow bar on the back of your coach, either temporarily or permanently, whatever you want to do. And the way it works, you fold everything up and you can store it to either one side or the other. So if you happen to have another accessory over here that takes up space, you can always keep it over here out of the way. Now, one thing I do like to recommend, especially for those of you keeping this back here permanently, is picking up a cover to just help keep the weather off the tow bar, as well as a locking hitch pin. That way it'll stay secured to your motorhome. And that'll finish up our look at of the Blue Ox Avail tow bar on our 2022 Thor Omni motorhome.